I'm sitting on top of a huge scrap pile in a store in South Williamsburg called Zero Waste Daniel. And we're here to see how they transform these small pieces of scrap into beautiful t-shirts and coats and sweaters like this. So as you know, I'm a huge fan of your brand. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about the social aspects behind it, like working with the local community and all the sustainable part of the brand.
Yeah, so everything is made from scraps that we gather domestically. Most of it is from New York City. We work a lot with nonprofit organizations like Fab Scrap, and then also directly with designers and factories to collect the waste that they're throwing out after production. And it's amazing how much material there is, how much we can do with it, and how we're able to take this material, which is free or has very little cost, and do things like create jobs for New Yorkers instead of offshoring and making more waste overseas just to have cheaper goods.
So how did the idea come about of like getting scraps and actually making them into like beautiful clothes? Or
So I started doing this from the time I was a really little kid. I knew I wanted to make clothes and experiment with fabric and fashion, but I never really learned how to sew professionally until I was in my early teens. So until then, my mom would take me to a fabric store where I could get scraps of fabric and make whatever I could figure out how to sew in my room. So the first experiences that I had with fashion was actually using scrap material. So by the time I got to be a professional educated designer, I knew that there was a huge missed opportunity everywhere I went, from big companies to small to very high-end, very mass market. Everyone had the same problem, and I just saw the opportunity to turn it into cash.
Very smart, I love it. So there are many kids today that aspire in opening a store and starting in the fashion world, but we know that it is hard.
Yeah.
So if you could give like a few guidelines and tips of like what they should do and maybe help them out.
That's a great question. I think one thing that always works, and that is one of the reasons that my operations manager, Julia, found me and has stayed with me for the last couple of years as we got this business going, was that businesses that actually solve a problem or answer a question are statistically more likely to succeed. So starting a business with a mission behind it, or that's answering one of the world's questions or problems, is always going to be something that helps your business grow and move forward. People are naturally attracted to that kind of a mission when it has a part of the larger conversation, not just the, oh, this is cute, new conversation. And that's definitely something I would encourage young entrepreneurs to do.
So I love your store. You know that I'm going to be here all the time.
Come
and
back.
thank you so much for having us here.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Done?